Okay, I found another one. This will be the most important video that you will watch today. Watch it and then we'll talk about it.
Hi, I'm hoping we can finally put to rest this ridiculous idea that both parties are the same. I could go back and forth on the policies and position differences between Republicans and Democrats. I could contrast the criminal records of both anticipated presidential candidates. I could do a side-by-side comparison of how the two parties feel about women, gay people, trans people, the free press, democracy. Hey, I could compare the economy and how it fares under Democrats and Republicans, but spoiler alert, it does way better under Democrats. I could talk about which party is banning books, which party passes laws to make democracy harder, and which passes them to make it easier. I could talk about which party keeps shutting down the government. But ultimately, my goal would be to illustrate that the two parties are not the same. And I don't think anything proves that point better than the week of September 18th, 2023. That one random week in American government told us more about the two parties than any useless poll could ever do. So I'm just going to walk us through what happened, and by the end, I hope you'll see, as those of us who follow this stuff closely do, that there's no question as to which party really deserves your support. So the week in question, the Biden administration took the first steps to remove medical bills from people's credit scores, to improve the credit rating of millions of Americans who had the bad luck of getting sick. Now, this decision comes from the same party who brought us the Affordable Care Act, made it illegal to deny people insurance for pre-existing conditions, and just passed legislation to lower prescription drug prices. In contrast, the Republicans voted against lowering prescription drug prices, are proposing cutting Medicare and Medicaid, and tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act 70 times. The Republicans are funded heavily by Big Pharma, so they clearly don't care how much money it costs to be sick, but they definitely don't care if your credit gets dinged when you can't pay for it. The same week, President Biden announced the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, because as he said, thoughts and prayers are not enough. The Republican position for years has been that guns are our God-given right, there's nothing we can do about the deaths, and they supported laws that said we couldn't even research gun violence, let alone try and do anything about it. The week of September 18th, Biden made a plan to go to Michigan to join the picket line with the United Auto Workers of America because, in his words, the union workers are fighting for their fair share of the value they helped create. While Republican presidential candidates, despite Donald Trump's photo shoot with union workers, all subscribe to union buster positions, with Tim Scott saying the quiet part out loud, if you strike, you should be fired. Simple as that. On September 20th, Joe Biden used his executive power to create a New Deal-style American Climate Corps to serve as a major green jobs training program that employs 20,000 young adults to build trails, plant trees, install solar panels, do other work to boost conservatism, and help prevent wildfires, while the same day the Republicans got into a fight with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg in a congressional hearing when they tried to claim that climate change and seasons are the same thing. The same week found one Republican senator continuing to hold up the confirmation votes of all senior military personnel, with the Senate finally going around him in order to confirm a new Joint Chiefs of Staff and a Chief of Staff of the Army and Marines. While one Democratic senator got all the public's attention for dressing inappropriately. By Thursday, the Democrats had all 213 of their members in line to vote to fund the government and avoid a government shutdown. And the Republicans couldn't stop their infighting long enough to even take a vote. In fact, Kevin McCarthy sent the entire House home early because he couldn't manage his own people. That's the same Speaker of the House who said they didn't have time to meet with the president of Ukraine that week because everyone was too busy. So the Republican-led House literally took Friday off, but wouldn't find the time to meet the leader of our biggest ally fighting the frontline war against our country's biggest adversary. And finally, the week of September 18th, Democratic Senator Bob Menendez, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, was asked by his own party to step down after he and his wife were indicted on federal bribery charges. Now, he's currently refusing to do that, but his party doesn't have his back. He's already lost his chair and he's being primaried. Contrast that with Texas Republican Attorney General Ken Paxton, who was acquitted by his party that same week for misconduct, bribery, and corruption. A case that was, by the way, overseen by the Republican lieutenant governor, who took a $3 million donation from a group supporting Paxton just before he presided over Paxton's impeachment as the judge. So an alleged criminal Democrat is being cut loose by his party, while an alleged criminal Republican is reinstated as the top law enforcement officer in Texas by his. Because the two parties are not the same. Look around. There's no comparison. This isn't rhetoric, it's action. One party is out here trying to get things done for the country, and one party is out here about to shut down the government because their criminal leader in exile, who, by the way, the same week threatened to kill a general and shut down the free press when he was back in power, told them to do it. So what are we even doing here, America? Stop pretending you are choosing between two equal things. The Republicans and Democrats are not two sides of the same coin. At this point, they're not even the same currency. And we're doing ourselves a major disservice pretending that they are. Look no further than the week of September 18th.
Wasn't that informational? That's every talking point that you need. Write them down. So when you don't know what to say to your Uncle Bob or your Trump supporting neighbor, there's your points. The only thing I would add is that they are extremist Christians entrenched in the Republican Party who support Christian nationalism. And if they stay in control, they will make sure that we become a fascist country. Now, please boost this content and go follow I Am Politics Girl. I have that video tagged in the captions. And as always, stay awake, use your voice, and vote.